And they're like, oh, we really don't do it like that. So, look, I'm going to be one of your best sales of the year, or I'm going to walk the fuck out of here, and I'm going to be one of the best sales of your competitor's year. But I'm not paying anything close to retail. I mean, really, one of the hallmarks of a very intelligent person is somebody who could understand things from another person's perspective or understand a contrarian point of view without necessarily agreeing with it. And really, if you wanted to be a good attorney or a good communicator in any way, it's really necessary. A good negotiator has to understand, like, well, how is my counterparty perceiving this? What are they thinking about it? What are their other interests? What are their unstated interests? What are the, multi-levels of the ripple effects of, like, if they did this with me, what does that get them? What are the other advantages they accrue or opportunities that are foreclosed because they and I did a deal versus, no deal, etc. You have to understand all these things about, you have to. And, the smarter you are, the more complex that model can become. It doesn't mean that it has to change your core interests. It doesn't mean that it has to, those things have to sway your perspective too much. But he sells a lot of luxury, high-end backyards are pretty common. You can make $100,000 sales, pretty common, very common, yeah. So how does somebody buy $100,000 something if you don't understand what the fuck they want? And I imagine. And and I don't do what you do, but I imagine there's people that you'd communicate with that you have to interpret for them what the fuck they want. They just know they want something cool in their fucking backyard, and you have to tell them, like, there's this I can get you a pool like this or like this or like this, and then we can get you a fucking a patio thingy here and a fucking retractable awning thing there and and a fucking slide that looks like a fucking dragon's cock or something for your kids to fucking slide down, for only a few thousand more. You can have the dragon cock. So how much of that is you just explaining to them, like, what they might like to have, and they're like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. Like, all right, let me take that shit.
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, everything's so, customizable. It's almost like it's kind of like a human interaction, because there's an infinite amount of variables that are out there, and you have to craft it into something that you pick up on from what they're telling you. Or, sometimes, I get a little napkin and there's like a little, and that's enough for me to run with. If it's just like, just a square and, here's the slide and here's this or whatever. I mean, I can totally just, sort of wave my magic wand through the experience that I've gotten, and usually, come up with something that I always tell people, I'm going to come up with plan A, and it's going to be like 90% there. And, that we'll meet up, we'll get it 100% there, but I'm trying to take you to 90% on that first drawing that I do for people.
Yeah. So if you couldn't understand the permutation of possible desires, like, I imagine, again, I don't, this guy sells like very customized high-end backyards, like swimming pools and dope shit for your backyard. Okay? So, I imagine if I were in your shoes, I could imagine that I'd be trying to understand, like, what's your family like? Who are the people that are going to use this space? I'd be getting to that solution or getting to that information of who are the people that are going to use this space? Like, all right, what sort of things are they into? Oh, your granddaughter, you got a granddaughter and a grandson. You don't even like your grandson, I understand. Fuck your grandson, understood, fuck your grandson. What's your granddaughter like? Okay, let's build it for her. If she doesn't want a dragon's dick, makes sense. We'll get her a My Little Pony, unicorn horn, all good. But you don't want Thanks, man, that was fun. Sometimes I say shit like that, and it seems perfectly reasonable and normal to me at the time.
I love it.
And then a moment later, I find this on Instagram sometimes. Sometimes I'm saying something on Instagram that I just think is perfect. I'm just kind of in the moment and just very sincerely in the moment and saying whatever. And then, like, then you're like, replay it to, like, put a little caption or a swipe up or something. And then when I rehear it like 30 seconds later, I just laugh hysterically at myself once in a while. Like, God, you're an idiot. God, what a dickhead. So I imagine that's how everybody else feels when they communicate with me as well, but I don't know. And Scott, that and I'll get you in on this, and I'll get you in on this, and you in on this, and just the more kind of what I was saying to this young man too, the 25-year-old econ guy. I'm bad with names, and even if you tell your name, I'm going to forget it. But if I seen you in 3 years, I'm like, oh, it's a 25-year-old econ guy. Now he's 28. Like my brain would do that, but I'm useless with names, so I don't even try sometimes. But kind of like what I was saying to him, it's like, if you have good intentions for something, like people know that. People know if you're full of shit or not. People know if you're an asswipe or not. Anybody that spends any bit of time with you, people get a good sense of that, And the more you could be decisive in a lot of contexts, the more you could, in a negotiation or, when meeting a girl, the more you could be decisive or, be a well-informed consumer, you get a lot of advantages for that. And I'm thinking about it in the construction context, which is why I kind of, think about some of you guys that I can get 30, 40% off so many things because, if I go talk to somebody about construction materials or about how something's put together or, I want this project done, inevitably they say two things all the time. If you're doing something that's, tell me about, show me your plans. They want to see like architectural plans and what's your budget? And I'm just like, no. It's like, my budget is I'm going to buy whatever the fuck I want, but I'm also going to go price shop that shit. And I'm not going to pay a penny more than I need to. I'm going to get whatever I want. It's going to be high quality. I'm going to love it. And I'm not going to pay a penny fucking more than I need to. That's my budget. And then the second part of that is just understanding. Like, if you understand how the shit fits together, like how things work, and you could have like a conversation with another, professional person who might know more than you do, but you're not they don't have to fucking educate you about the materials and the whole process and all the fucking, you know enough that there's no mystic magical bullshit. There's nothing that they can bullshit you about, but they don't have to, they can know more than you, but you know enough that you can't be bullshitted, and you make it easy that, I want this, I want this, I want that, I want that, and I'm going to pay commodity prices. I'm not going to pay retail idiot prices. I get a lot of fucking discounts on things just talking to people. I imagine you guys have similar experiences in those type of areas, yeah? Is that fair? Do you have some of that? Yeah. And they all tell me if I, any of the topics that I'm well informed about, if I was buying expensive, this fucking coat is custom made. I probably paid 40% what a normal schmuck would pay for. This is, like measured and custom made of like the finest fucking black gamma minks, but I don't pay retail for anything. I even got my Moneyberg is initialed inside. I don't pay retail for anything. Or, jewelry, if I buy jewelry, like, I know diamond specs, I know precious metals. So I could talk about all of those things in depth. And, just about universally, those people tell me if it's a jeweler, if it's a construction something, or numerous other things, they're just like, they're happy to work with you because you're not going to waste their fucking life. You're not going to be indecisive. You're not going to change the plan 10 fucking times. There's like, all right, I get it. This guy is going to be a high volume, low margin, but he's not going to be a pain in my ass. He doesn't begrudge me making money. He's going to be easy to work with. He's not going to be a management problem on either side. High volume, low margin, everything's good. And just having that fucking, instead of being agreeable, being a little bit disagreeable at the right times. I'm fucking with a several $1 million property, and I don't have a fucking architectural plan, but I grew up around construction. I was 7 years old. I was on job sites and doing shit. Like, I don't need to go talk to a fucking architect. Like, I know in my head, it's like, all right, we're doing this, we're doing that, and I got to sketch things out. If you want to fucking frame some walls, then you got to fucking sketch out. We're putting the walls here, and the door goes precisely here, and blah blah blah, and we 34-inch openings for a 32-inch door, and da 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 da. So there's some structure to it. I'm not trying to be too flippant about it, but a lot of the shit, it's in my head. It's not written down anywhere on earth. And I know exactly how it's going to turn out, and many of you are going to be there. The mastermind folks are going to be around, and it's going to be beautiful later. And we're going to laugh at the negotiation stories that I'll tell about things that happened along the way in the project. But to the extent that you can be that way with other people, it might be a little abrasive, it might be a little disagreeable. I'm that way with all of these people. I spent I don't know, about 160 some thousand dollars on 2-inch and 2 cm and 3 cm quartzite, mostly quartzite and a bit of marble, little marble, little granite, and a lot of quartzite. You guys think about, I'm getting about 24 slabs of material put in the property, which, a normal consumer wants like a slab and a half to do their kitchen, So I want like 16 kitchens worth of material to do one kitchen and some showers and stuff. And there's a particular place, they had the best materials hands down. I went to all the granite and marble warehouses. There's one particular place that they're kind of boutique-y. They deal with like kind of special high-end fancy shit, and by far had the best materials. But I got to go talk to them, and they wanted to song and dance me and walk me around. I said, no, I'll go look at the shit. Say, I like this, that. What else you got? We talked about that. Oh, this other special quartzite's on the water. You're shipping it. Show me the pictures. I like that too. Nice. And they want to walk me through like a fantasy bullshit scenario, like consumer type thing. I'm like, no. Before we talk about anything, let's go talk about numbers. Let's go sit in the other room and talk about numbers. And I told them I'm going to buy. I didn't know it was 24 at the time, what it turned into. But at that time, I thought I was buying 21 slabs of material. And so what's a normal consumer want from you? You want to sell them 2 slabs. They want a slab and a half. Yeah. So what does that cost? It's a couple $1,000s. They buy cheap materials. It's a $3,000-$4,000. You make nothing. You make a couple $1,000. $4,000 on a biggest chump. You might make $4,000 if you got a real idiot that doesn't know what they're doing. I said you're going to make at least $20,000 working with me, but I'm not going to pay anything like retail. And but what are we going to do about? What kind of markup are you trying to make? What's the margin you're trying to make on this shit? And they're like, oh, we really don't do it like that. I said, look, I'm going to be the easiest sale of your life. I'm going to be one of your best sales of the year, or I'm going to walk the fuck out of here, and I'm going to be one of the best sales of your competitor's year. But I'm not paying anything close to retail. And we agreed to I'd pay them 16% above their margin on different shit. And before I had that conversation, I first had them, we walk around the warehouse and say, how much is this, how much is this, how much is this, how much is that? I established their model for this is they just double the prices of everything. So it's whatever they paid for it, they just charge double. So I discerned that from a few conversations and some guessing checks. And then I'm just like, all right, so we're gonna take the price of the materials, we're gonna get fucking 34% off everything, and they made a math error and gave me 34.6% off, and okay, But they're all happy with me too, And I could tell 10 more stories like this, and maybe we'll sit around the house and talk about it sometime. But it's like being agreeable wouldn't close the fucking deal, If I was being agreeable about it, they wouldn't be making that money. They still wouldn't have a deal. They wouldn't have money. I'd have to go get it from somebody else. It's just one where it'd be a waste of my time, it'd be a waste of their time. You're not helping anybody, So just trying to be in the areas that you feel strongly opinionated or well informed about, that whether it's the type of thing that you feel well informed, so this is what we're doing, or you're strongly opinionated and it's just a lifestyle choice, so that's what you're doing no matter what. And if she don't want to come with, it don't matter, But that hesitation's really going to kill you, bro. And I know you're very smart. I know you're really smart. But my guess is you play a lot of things back and forth in your head, role playing about I could do this, I should say that, and then sometimes it don't come out. Is that fair, or am I projecting that somewhere?
No, that's pretty fair.
Yeah, so just bring that shit out instead. I can tell even on the mastermind calls, I see your facial affects. You say a lot of smart things, and in private videos you sent me or communications we had, you say a lot of smart things, and I see that your brain works really well. But I could imagine that when you're talking with other people, out in the world, that it's a bit more assertiveness. There's good quality things here. A bit more assertiveness about getting them out is going to make your life better, not worse. It's going to make it easier to close a deal, easier to get something done and get on to the next thing, and get that done and get on to the next thing. How fucking miserable, you must have to deal with some indecisive motherfuckers with your thing. How fucking miserable is it when you I bet you got a great story in this vein for that matter. So Is there a contrast story in your head of somebody that's like decisive? They know what they want, and you're like, they more or less know what they want, and you're like, bing, 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 this, that. They're like, yeah, 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 and you give them a fair price and you close the deal, versus somebody that's like, oh, I gotta talk to a designer and an architect and waste your fucking life.
Yeah, we call them dreamers.
Mm.
Pretty much. Yeah, the dreamers. Yeah. I want to know, like, as soon as possible so I can just get them off my plate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the dreamers are just like wasting, time. And that came up on a mastermind call recently too, where we talked about like maybe like when you how do you know when you're like giving too much value? When somebody starts wasting your time, that's when you're like giving it away. You're giving too much when somebody's like oh well maybe this, that, or the other. But it's like, well, come back to me when you're ready. I've got plenty of people who want to work with me right now. So thank you, but no, I'm not going to spin my wheels for your fantasy that you probably can't afford.
I got a friend that she's an old British woman, and she's a real estate broker, and I talk to her sometimes. Not even if I'm even doing anything. Sometimes we just chat with each other and talk about luxury market, just kind of more checking in with each other about business things more than we have immediate business at that moment. But we kind of touch base with each other a few times a year.
Sure.
And she talks about that she said that there's a subset of people that are calling her up, and it's just pure fantasy shit, that they're like broke imbeciles that are like, I think I'd like to have a, $12 million house. I'd like to see the $12 million property or the, $7 million thing. And, when she digs a little deeper, these people are like just fucked, it's like they couldn't afford a down payment, They couldn't afford anything. Their current net worth isn't, but they just engage in they're bored, I guess. They're just bored. But she's told me about that's been a thing for her this year, that like these Fantasyland people contacting her that have nothing else to do with their time, apparently. There's a subset of people, my friend Owen, he has a subset of people that would talk to people in his company, and they're like, I want this and that, and I want to take a program with everybody, and I want, 3 one-on-one programs with Derek and this and that. And I said, these guys are full of shit. And nobody understood that for the longest time. Like when somebody does that type of stuff, I'm like, this guy's full of shit. So tell them to fucking show up on a fucking one-on-one program. And, I said, tell them to come on a regular fucking program. And if we like each other, great. And if we don't like each other, I don't want to be in a fucking one-on-one program with. I don't want to spend fucking days of my life with some asshole that I'm like, about, If I don't love him, I don't want to spend the time. And they're like, oh, no, their people would say that, no, like, he's going to do this and that. He needs some time to think about it. He's going to do, he's got all the money. He's got to, he's going to spend $200,000 to go on your thing, Derek. And I said, no, he's not. And I said, don't waste my fucking time. And I don't think they understood that for a while. That I understood that immediately. With and this happens every other month. One of these people pops up that there's $200,000 worth of programs, $250,000, but they got to think about it all. There's always a little something, There's always a little something, and those guys are trying. They think they're going to finesse a sale, and I'd be like, no, numbnuts. If you're serious, do it right now. If you're not serious, I don't want to work with you ever. And that's exactly what would close the sale. For once a year, when one of those people wasn't full of shit, that's exactly what would close the sale. So, if you're serious, do it right now. If not, I don't. If you're not serious, if you don't know 100%, I don't want to work with you ever.
And I just have to hand it to you that you being part of the group and being in your ecosystem, because the first boot camp I was on was about 1.5 years ago in Miami, and ever since it's just like the certainty level in what I'm doing like has probably increased like tenfold, just in terms of like even like socially, but also especially like in business, because I feel like I'm in demand right now more than ever because of the COVID, and it also just coincided with me like really sharpening my blades of negotiation and the certainty that you bring to situations, and hey, I'm in control here. This is they want to be you can tell like when somebody wants to be closed sometimes, and you just it's a beautiful thing. You just follow through, and You just go to the bank.
Yeah, and there's a sea of numbnuts people out there that you know. You hear them on if I did like a public call sometimes, or like I did this afternoon. Today was quite pleasant, but I generally expect on a call like that, there's some numbnuts like teach me the secret trick of manipulation to get the thing I don't deserve, and you just can't. The secret trick is to do the due diligence ahead of time, to be an informed consumer or to be an informed provider, and to sincerely work with clients that you actually care about, that work with the archetype of people that you actually would like to spend time with and actually want to help them. So if I had to hang out with a bunch of fucking idiots, it's like it doesn't fit. Why would we do that? Why would you spend your time spend your days having tea with the fucking dreamers, as you call them, instead of getting something fucking done? It just doesn't fit. So the more you could have that certainty, or there's nothing macho about it. I'm not saying anything that's macho or manipulative or trickery. Just like, but people enjoy if you provide that certainty sometimes to their life of, hey, I'm going over here, and you may or may not be coming with, but I'm coming over here. Somebody's coming over here with me. Are you coming? Somebody else is coming. Who's taking that spot? And then, a lot of people, that nudge wakes them up and gets them doing something. And you got to be pretty neutral about it. It's not like, then somebody will ask a question like, well, what do you do if they don't want to come with? I don't give them another fucking thought ever in my life. Somebody else is going to go fill that time or that space in my life. And we're going to have a great time. And I'm going to get along with them better than whoever the fuck got left behind. I don't have any opinion about it. I don't have any opinion about who comes or who doesn't. I think that about, I first really learned that about women. This is quite useful to talk about. I first really learned that about women as I thought to myself, and, I think I'll think of you in my head a little bit while I talk about this, but, I thought like, the idea that, if you're a good quality man, trying to convince a woman or persuade a woman that she should want to spend time with a good quality guy, is, that it doesn't fit, and the type of girls I'm going to end up with is I'm going to tell her what to do, and she's going to follow my lead, and if she don't want to follow my lead, somebody else is going to. Another beautiful woman's going to be happy to. And the guys will ask me in perpetuity, not these type of guys, but guys that are not on a 5-day program and not thinking as high level as most of the men here, like, well, Derek, how do you get the girl to do this? Or how do you, they want to do some sort of like trickery or manipulation or something. It's like, that'd be like, well, bro, how do I get the physique of a guy that works out 6 days a week, but I only want to go to the gym a couple times a month when I feel like it, It's those type of questions, those type of dumbass ideas. It's like, well, you're either going to do the thing or you're not. You're going to pay the price to have the outcome or you're not. But then, if you paid the price to have those outcomes in your life in enough areas, like, it's confusing to a woman. It's even confusing to other men if you're not, congruent or in alignment with that. Woman's like, what is this shit? What is this shit? Like, she'd rather have somebody say, hey, this is what we're doing. Say, well, I don't really like doing that. All right, somebody else will do it with me. This is what I'm doing. I'm going over here. You want to come with? Yeah, that it could be quite useful if you've done the right things in life, that you've kind of earned that spot. Like, more convincing or persuading is not the answer. You can be warm, like you said, that if you're physically dominant to a point of scary to the girl, there could be a little warmth, and then she's kind of open-minded and a little like but open-minded, It's like probably about an ideal spot. But think how bizarre it would be to that convincing and persuading part, or trying to make somebody like you, versus like, no, this is who I am. This is what I'm up to. It's not for everybody. If you got a better option, go do it. No worries. The more that I'm kind of saying this to you because I think that it's about exactly the thing in your life, that you got a lot of good things going on, a lot of areas that you built up to a high level, that it'd be weird. A girl's going to perceive it as like strange or bizarre in some way. Like, what's wrong with it? Like, literally, like that little squinty face, like, what's wrong with this guy? If you're like, hey, you think maybe you'd like to sometime, go on a date or something. You just got to be relaxed. Imagine the way you'd be in business, that polite enough and professional enough, but a firmness of like, hey, I'm doing this. We're doing this. You want to do that with me, or somebody else is gonna?
Lead.
Yeah. Yeah, just be a good leader. Just be a good leader. Let her self-select. Help her. What I said about the high-level sales stuff. Help her make an informed decision. That she's going to opt in and be excited about it, or opt out, and you feel good about that too.
Yeah, just educate them on what their options are.
Yep. This is who I am. This is what I'm up to. I'm going over here. Type of woman that would be compatible with that. She'd be like this, like this, like that. Is that you? All right. Come meet my friends. Oh, hey, let's go do this. Oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. And it makes people feel a hell of a lot more comfortable, yeah?
I've done tons of programs with him, and this is probably the best one because I'm working in real estate full time, and I think it's only going to accelerate my results as an investor when I choose to move to investing full time, because that's where the real cash is, and that's always been the end goal for me. So yeah, go if you're not on Real Estate Riches, man, you're losing out. Your competition loves it when you don't take action and when you don't join these things. It's a band of brothers, a very, very, very intense course, but one that's going to be life-changing for everyone involved. So to everyone that took it, congratulations. Everyone who didn't take it, get on it ASAP.
Thanks for watching. Success is not for everybody, and it may not be for you. If you are or on your way to be a millionaire or multimillionaire, probably going to want to spend time with my clients. Probably going to want to have a personal relationship with me so we can accelerate that process, get you living up to your maximum potential, earning your maximum wage. You're going to want to click that follow button. You're going to want to click that bell and get notifications. Tune in every Friday. Tune in every Monday. You're going to love what you see. I look forward to having you as a client in the future.